Oh yeah, here I am, back again. NeoToys, streaming No Man's Sky, whether you like it or not. Oh wait, I have to update the version. Actually, I have no idea what version I'm on here. Alright. Yeah, so the last couple of times I streamed, I didn't have any audio because, bless her heart, my partner is kind of like a fascist when it comes to me broadcasting audio from our apartment, which I guess is totally understandable. 2.09.1. Okay, wow. They are really moving quickly with those updates. So I guess there's been a lot of flack from the community, which is kind of depressing. Yeah, so last time I quit, I just landed at this wrecked freighter, which is kind of cool because it's a it's like the Star Destroyer archetype, which you don't see as often as the other models, at least in my experience, which is kind of cool. I've been playing this game for so long that I just click through all these things like super fast and I never read them. I mean, it's like all this great backstory that some poor like employee at Hello Games had to like work really hard to write and try to deepen the lore. And yet, like, to me it's just a time wasting bother. I wish there was a way to just skip the dialogues completely. Yeah, so these freighter wrecks are actually kind of tedious, to be honest. I mean, they're cool, but you're basically just like digging a hole in the ground, finding these containers, which is cool because, I mean, in so many games, although it's a lot more common now than it used to be, like, you couldn't really do this kind of terrain deformation. Let's see if you still get radiation poisoned. Yep, still get radiation poisoned. So, like, I did all that work and I got a Starship launch fuel. I mean, it's not exactly a hard to procure item. Like, with this kind of thing in general, I feel like in so many games they give you these like challenges like this, procedural challenges, where there's some kind of like puzzle you have to solve or whatever, but then the reward itself is just like really mediocre. I mean, you could say that, sure, it's not a lot of work, like, I'm just excavating. It's not like I'm having to do some annoying jumping puzzle or something like that requires a lot of skill and patience and persistence and whatnot. But at the same time, I feel like I'm gonna die down here in this hole. How did I even get in here? What the heck? There we go. Protect myself here. There it is, hazard protection. But I feel like if you go to that much work, you should get a substantial reward. Or here's an idea, how about this? Instead of just some dumb generic thing like units or artifacts, or, you know, let's see what I get here. Warp cells. Like, how about this? Each one of the containers that you find in a crashed freighter has a different component inside of it. So that, first of all, that incentivizes you going and getting every single one, versus just like getting one or two and then being bored and being like, this is not worth my time, which it honestly isn't. Like, right now I'm just doing this because I'm talking, because this is not very stimulating. But say there was a unique item in each one of those boxes, and then you could combine the pieces together and get like some major reward. I don't know, that's just kind of a thought. Like, is this the one I just did? Yep.
Radiation protection. Warning. Extreme subterranean radiation detected.
So yeah, make it more of a real puzzle. I mean, from just like an RPG point of view. What the hell? Oh, okay. Oh, that was like a multi-part thing. That was kind of cool. Yeah, from like an RPG perspective, I mean, it's a crashed freighter, right? So you kind of expect there to be a scenario like this where there's shipping containers or these little mini vaults that then contain items that the freighter would theoretically be transporting. Like when you find units, like that doesn't really make sense at all. Like, why would they put units in one of those containers? So the rewards are kind of arbitrary. Looks like I'm gonna have to go over there. I mean, it would be even weirder if it was what I was talking about, where there was like multiple parts of a puzzle that you would then assemble after collecting them all. Like, that wouldn't fit the profile of a crashed freighter by any means. I mean, another thing that kind of comes to mind is, God, this is irritating. The radiation's like just constant. Another thing that comes to mind is like, why is the freighter crashed, you know? Okay, let's see, there's gotta be some more. I remember the last time I did this and I completed it, there was like a little, like, completion thing happened, so I must be missing a container somewhere. I feel like there's kind of some sensory overload in this game where there wasn't, like in the earlier versions. Yeah, I don't see, it's like I got them all. But yeah, so like, why did the freighter crash? Like, was it smuggling some sort of contraband? So like, that's kind of where my mind went first. I was like, somebody shot down this freighter, you know, so maybe it had some kind of like special stuff in it that the Sentinels weren't happy about. And so that would be kind of a cool thing to find in the containers. Some like special items that were hard to find normally, instead of just regular boring stuff. Freighter crash sites are always kind of exciting though when you find them, just because they're cool. It kind of links the space with the planet aspect. I mean, really, the coolest thing ever would be like if you saw all of these crashes happening. I mean, I think that would be super cool. Like freighters tumbling through the atmosphere, like burning up and breaking up and then they crash into the planet's surface, and then you go and pillage them, or like maybe rescue survivors, or I don't know, there's so many cool possibilities. So I feel like the potential is there. It's just like with so many other parts of the game, they've been focusing on other parts which are really important. So yeah, it's all just kind of about priorities. Like what's gonna have the biggest impact, what's gonna make the fans go the wildest. And honestly, like I think that question's already been answered multiple times. Like space whales obviously would have been a big deal. They still haven't really implemented, which I can't blame them for, because you'd want to be like beholden to the fans and more or less coerced into adding things to the game on a regular basis. The reason I'm checking all those green containers, which I normally also wouldn't do because it's really boring, I'm looking for a Korvax convergence cube to finish the final upgrade that I haven't been able to complete, the advanced translation, the S class, and I need 2 Korvax convergence cubes. I found one so far in the green chest, which is cool because that means they do actually manifest in there occasionally. But it seems like it's a very low drop rate. Like I've probably opened 50, maybe even 100 of those green chests, and I've only found 1 Korvax convergence cube so far. I find this particularly obnoxious because before the update, the latest update, I completely purged my freighter storage, which was like I had all my big storage containers there, and I had like 20 of those Korvax convergence cubes because they were actually really easy to find before the 2.0 update. So I sold them all thinking, oh, these are useless, they're just a currency item, I'll never need a Korvax convergence cube for anything useful. And then they released the 2.0 update, and it's part of a really critical recipe, so now I need to find one. But it's actually good because it's the only thing I haven't done so far in the new update. Like, the 2.0 came out like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and like I've already done every single thing that the update like included. So that's kind of I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. Like we waited for like, it seemed like a year for this update. Ugh, more Gek relics. See, this is what you get. Gek relics, which I just delete because don't need them. What's the other one? Vy'keen effigies. Crap, useless. Vy'keen daggers sometimes too. Pretty much everything except for a Korvax convergence cube. I'm pretty sure you can buy them at certain places too, like stores or whatever those things are called. Those you know what I'm talking about. Those things that look like an eye that you click on and then it's like a marketplace. I think you can buy them there. Yeah, so this planet, as you may have noticed, it's one of those freakish, very rare, special planets that has abnormally high density of alien structures, which is just the kind of planet you want to find if you're doing some grindy thing like this where you're trying to locate a specific item for a crafting recipe. Well, it's been a while since I did one of these. Observatory, I think you find a alien ruin if you complete this code properly. Okay, so the key to these puzzles, it's so simple, it's like the dumbest thing ever. a couplet of numbers in here repeats in the pattern. So in this case it's 37. It pops out thanks to my autism. It pops right out, like 37's in the middle, and then 37's at the end, and then 37 split. So the next place it's going to be is right here where the 79 is, and that completes the pattern. Really basic puzzle, but kind of cool because I've never seen it in any other game. So yeah, alien ruin. Way the fuck over there. Off planet. It's not even on this planet. What a waste of time. Like I'm gonna fly all the way to the other side of the galaxy just to get some alien ruin. Here's something kind of cool. This, you weren't able to do this before, but like these plant rooms used to be useless, but now you can actually harvest the plants in the rooms and get resources. In this case it's carbon. It's, in my experience, it's been a random resource, so you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes it's something a little more useful, but in this case it's just garden variety carbon that I could actually get a lot faster. And then it's the same in if there's any other connected botanical rooms like this, it's the same resource. So clearly the procedural rules, the algorithm, whatever, decides what the reward is going to be from that specific room is, or base, I guess you would call it, is always the same for the I can't talk, for the like complex of structures. 5 sodium nitrate. What a steal. Sometimes it's an outrageous like cost to repair those things, in which case I just ignore them, but that was nice and cheap. Another cool thing I found, like with this update, like I'm using my positron ejector here and just shooting, and there's stuff I can't see when I'm flying, but it's still there, and so I'm like literally shooting it up, and I can get resources, like a lot of different types of resources too. In this case it was just carbon. Oh yay. This is one of those factories or places where you can get recipes. I think I have all the recipes though already, so it doesn't matter, but I like the B&E aspect of these buildings. Pretty much the only structure in the game where you don't need a key card to get in and the doors don't open automatically. You actually have to blow the door down. And I use my handy dandy geology cannon, which is like insanely powerful. It does like 3,300 damage, so it just takes 3 shots to break in to these fortresses, which is kind of nice because it takes forever with a mining beam. Alright. Interloper, vent energy, increase production. So that's pretty straightforward. Wow, it just gave it to me without any puzzle or anything? What the heck? I might have just clicked on it accidentally and hit the right answer. Which is hilarious. I forgot I turned off some of the little wheel of annoyance on the puzzle. I can't play and talk at the same time. Yeah, that annoying little circle thing that comes up that you have to like hold down the mouse button on. I turned that off, but it doesn't turn it off on everything, which is super annoying. Wow, that was a big big reward there for that particular creature. Yeah, actually, I think I'm gonna change that in settings, because general options, hold to confirm. See, like, it's pointless, because the only places where I want it to be turned off, that option doesn't actually affect it. Like, for example, these containers. Like, why the hell would I want to wait to open a container? Of course I want to just to open it immediately. But the places where it does that stupid spinning wheel is like dialogue and stuff, where or disables that wheel is dialogue and things that I would actually want to maybe take my time with and not accidentally click through, like on that factory I just did. So, like, I don't know why they haven't made it so you can just turn that off completely. That's one of my major pet peeves. Ever since version 1.0, it's like, I don't need to be patronized. I'm not a console peasant. No, just kidding. Oh, I absolutely love this upgrade. These, where are they? I put it in technology. Yeah, these launch thruster upgrades, but specifically this one right here, the S-Class. Automatic recharging. It's the most kick-ass thing ever. You never need to worry about running out of launcher fuel. Because that was like such a big annoyance. Pretty much every planet where I've found this atypical structure density, it's almost always been on a fungal planet. I don't know why that is. I actually think it's like a glitch in the algorithm, the generating algorithm. I mean, it's really dumb because there are some planets where the density of structures is just abysmally low. Like maybe there's 1 or 2 on the entire planet, and or 0 even. I found several planets with 0 structures, and then there's planets like this with like 1 every kilometer or so. That just seems outrageous to me. Like, I mean, I guess it's somewhat realistic. I mean, as realistic as you could possibly think about. Oh, hey, this is another factory of some sort. What is this? Let me find. Auto constructor. So yeah, it's a factory. So I get to blow another door wide open. I have to be so careful with this geology cannon because it's so powerful and it has a blast radius that is just like outrageous. Like if I'm within a quarter mile of the detonation spot, it's just gonna blow me to Kingdom Come. I mean, I've died so many times accidentally discharging that thing. Foolish, pathetic, okay, blah blah blah. Warrior give trade to pacify, death soon. Okay. I have no idea how to... Warrior high command to send a subsequent message to explain. I don't know, I guess. I want to die. Okay. Ah. Nice. So that was the correct answer, apparently. To play along and get pacified. Yeah, there's a lot of puzzle questions that are like that where you just have to guess. Basically, there's no way to know for sure. Which is frustrating to me. I don't like that in games. I mean, once again, that's like Sean Murray's kind of unique, quirky sense of humor, maybe. Like, but that's realistic, you know, because in life, so many times you think there's going to be a straightforward answer or solution to a problem, and in reality, it's just a guessing game, and you're rolling the dice. So that's kind of plausible. Not sure if I checked in over here or not. Yeah, so if you're like early off starting in the game, it's a bit grindy, but if you find a planet like this, you've hit the jackpot, because you can just fly around and get all the basic stuff really quickly, like all the recipes and formulas and nanites. It's kind of boring though, like I wouldn't want to do this for more than an hour now that I'm like a demigod in No Man's Sky. Okay, this is an interesting building. What do we have here? It's actually just totally generic. Planets like this are about as close as you get to finding a city or a civilization in the game. Another gripe I have is like the scanner. So that wave that just went out, that's a planetary scan for my ship, which is like totally stacked. This is like that planetary scan should pick up these buildings. In fact, it should pick up all the buildings in the vicinity, but instead it rarely picks up anything. I mean, occasionally it will pick up a structure, but it's not a common occurrence. And given the density, it should be picking up dozens, if not hundreds, of structures. And I think the reason that it doesn't is not because it's malfunctioning, but it's because of the way the world gen works. I think the world gen actually creates the structures as you're moving over the terrain. So like, in other words, they don't exist until they're within the view distance of your ship. So it's kind of like a quantum thing. So like, there's no way a scanner that has a huge range can pick those up. Although that doesn't really explain why it ever picks any of them up. I mean, clearly the game has some ability to predict where a structure is going to be. I mean, it may actually be like, this process of scanning may actually be creating those structures on the planet. Like, I don't know if that's how it works or not, but that's one possible explanation. Kind of a backwards way of doing it. But the reason I have these theories is because of some of the interviews I've watched with the developers, and where they've talked about like how the world gen works. And oh, there's a holographic communications beacon, which is totally useless to me. I've finished all of the game story content. Yeah, there was a time, like, I don't know, it was like 1.5 or 1.2 or something, where they fixed the scanner. Like, here we go, it just picked up a building, right? They fixed the scanner, or they did something to the scanner code, where, like, first they totally broke it. You'd scan and you'd pick up nothing, even if you were flying past 100 buildings. And then they did something and changed the code again. Oh, whoa, cool, an NPC. Okay, this is new for me. This is the first time I've seen this. And they changed the code again, and then suddenly it was working like it was supposed to, and it was picking up. Where did he go? What the hell? Did I, like, land on him? Oh, there he is. Let's see, it's pathetic. That's cool. Super cool. Yeah, so this is like one of the big new deals in there. 2.0 is like NPCs that are like on the planet walking around, which is actually like in my top 10 list of things that I wanted to see added to the game, so that's pretty cool to actually see it firsthand finally. Okay, don't need these. Don't need one ferrite dust. And I can make a bunch of warp cells since I picked up all these. At least I thought I could. Okay, and then send this to the starship. Nothing else is really expendable there. I really wish it would put everything that you picked up into the cargo instead of into the general, because actually I'm not sure if the capacity, like, yeah, you can hold 10 metal plating in your cargo but only 5 in your general, so in theory it's like a better place to store stuff just because it takes longer to fill up. Yeah, one of the reasons I love this game so much is because it's kind of conducive to autism and nerding out. Okay, that was kind of cool. I found with one scan, 2 buildings. By the way, this is hardly the most dense I've ever seen on a planet. Like when I first started playing, one of the reasons I was able to sort of power level was because I found this one toxic planet, which I actually eventually made my home base, my first base planet, because it had, like, I'd say double or maybe even triple the density of structures that this planet has. Literally every second that I was flying, if I was just turning my head in the cockpit, like, everywhere I looked there was a structure. That was how dense it was. So I very quickly was able to get all of the formulas and stuff, and nanites and everything. I always go the language route, because the alternative is this really annoying puzzle thing where first you get a map to another temple, and then you have to fly to that temple, and then there's a chest underground that has a lock that requires 3 keys, I think, and the 3 keys are also in little chests in that area. You have to excavate all 3 keys and the chest, and then you have to take those keys to the chest and unlock it, and then you get like some random unique item that is a currency item. It's not like a useful item. At least I've never gotten a useful item. And it's worth a lot of money, but I mean, look, I got 393 million credits, or units. I don't really need any more money. There's really no benefit beyond that. So like, yeah, this game, it definitely needs a what do they call it, like end game content, because it is somewhat of an RPG. There's RPG-ish elements, so they need to think long term. Like, what are players who have everything gonna want to do? Well, there is one other thing that I haven't yet done in the game, and that's the whispering eggs or humming eggs with the weird, like, what's that Vin Diesel movie? Pitch Black, right? Like the Pitch Black xenomorphs that basically attack you when you steal their eggs. So maybe I'll try that out. I think I'll save first though, just in case, because I know they can be pretty aggressive. I usually save on the field just by getting into my ship and getting out again, because it creates a save point. It's kind of like a silly hack, you could say, but it works. Now the real, whispering egg. The real problem here for me is if I use my geology cannon, I'm gonna have to be way the fuck away from where I fire it off. Alright, how do I break into these things? Alright, there we go. Oh yeah. Wow, these things are a lot harder to kill than I thought they'd be. God, and what was the point of this? What did I get from that whispering egg other than my ass kicked? Jesus. Like, I kill one egg and there's like 1,000 of these things coming out. Yeah, so that wasn't quite what I was expecting. Oh, come on, I'm out of... Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Ugh. Swear to God, you always run out of ammo at like the worst possible time. Yeah, I'm kind of pissed now. I'm just gonna blow their eggs to Kingdom Come. Huh, doesn't work. Right then. Yeah, that's right. I blew every single one of those things up with one geology cannon grenade. This weapon is way overpowered. Wow, these things are really a nuisance. Wow, they just keep coming too. It's like a lot of them coming out of there. Yeah, that jumping is scary and obnoxious. Swarm. I didn't catch that message. It said something about a swarm. Okay, so I guess there is no reward. It's just kind of a fuck you to the player. So you basically just blow up their eggs and then they swarm and that's it. So, huh. I thought for sure there'd be like some, like you'd get something, you know, from it. I guess not. Whoops. that? That was the temple I was just at. Alright, I need to like put some real distance between myself and that area I was in, just to sort of refresh the pool of... Actually, you know what? I'm kind of bored. I'm sick of the system. One thing they got right about this game, and I'd have to say, without a doubt, it's totally the best feature, is this the sense of power and freedom that you can just take off anytime you want. I mean, as long as you actually have a decent ship and all the upgrades and stuff. And once you have that, it's like the sky is the limit. You can just go anywhere you want. If you're bored on the planet you're on, no problem. Alright, I visited this, but it doesn't have the characteristic ring around it that normally... Like, see how these planets have rings around them? That's what I've used in the past to tell that I'd already been to a planet. But apparently those aren't always there, in which case you have to look for that little flavor text that says visited, which is annoying. I don't like that I have to actually read text. I'm way too lazy for that. Oh, come on. I'm really hoping that I'm going to get a freighter battle soon. So I'm looking for planets that are within warp distance for me that also have the little cross swords with like a higher number, like 3 I think is as high as it goes. I'm also looking for planets that have, or star systems that have 6 planets, 6 bodies, whether they're planets or moons, I don't care, because for me, I'm always looking, like that's actually probably my favorite part of the game, is exploring new worlds and trying to see new combinations of all the procedural variables and stuff. Mechanical planet. Ugh, there are so many anomalies now. It's like it's not really interesting anymore. It used to be like you really had to search. Like you might look through 100 systems and only find one anomaly planet. Now it's like if you want to find an anomaly, you just go to an uncharted system, and like half the planets are anomaly planets. Doesn't really seem like there's anything here that of interest to me. There's another planet behind this planet, so I think I'm just gonna fly past it to see what it is, because you never know. I mean, I did warp all the way here at light speed. I might as well look at all the planets before I leave the system. If I can even find it. There it is. Miasmatic, then it's just another like fungal planet. Boring. Okay. Oh yeah, look at this. It's 4 planets. Good enough. Since it's all procedurally generated and you just never know what you're gonna find, I try to like... What the hell was that? It was an interesting icon. I try to model my exploration just on the pure randomness of picking the planets without any discretion whatsoever and flying there. Although I am limited by the warp range of my ship, which is 116 light years, which is like pathetic compared to my freighter. But it's usually just enough to jump to the nearby worlds. Okay, so radioactive planet. All we've got left is this moon. corrosive moon, so a fungal planet, a radioactive planet, which you never know with those. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. And what was this one? An ice planet, yeah, so not really worth it. Let me see if I need to recharge my hyperdrive. Yep.
Technology recharge.
One other thing I haven't done yet is make the super warp core, or whatever it's called, that lets you like warp more times. Okay, this is also for planet system. I'm gonna see if I can build one of those as soon as I warp into this new system, because I have to admit it is slightly intriguing to me. That's an uncharted system. Okay, what do I need to make this thing? Warp reactor. Oh, I just need storm crystals? I think I have some of those on my freighter. No. Must have stashed them in my storage. What is this? Storm crystal. Okay. I have a special planet that I have a base on that is like a high storm crystal planet where it's pretty much constantly extreme storms and there are storm crystals all over the place, so I can go there and farm storm crystals if I really want to, but I'd much rather explore new worlds than do that, to be honest. Maybe I'll just find one while I'm exploring. This is so irritating. This is my least favorite thing when there's a planet behind another planet, so I actually have to fly past it. It's really nice when you enter into a system where all the planets are kind of laid out in front of you and you can just scan them all in about 30 seconds. But that's pretty infrequent that you come across that scenario. What's really obnoxious is when it's a big planet with 2 moons. Okay, here we go. What do we have here? And there's usually, like, if you're really unlucky, uranium. There's like 2 moons behind the planet, so you need to actually fly around the planet just to see the moons. Man, not a lot of aggression in this like area that I'm in here. Like pretty much all the planets. Oh, that one's a 2. And there's an uncharted. So I'm gonna go here just for the hell of it, because you're probably gonna see that the uncharted systems have this weirdly high probability of having the anomalous planets. I'm just gonna see how accurate that impression is. Oh wow, that's actually a really cool vista with like the moons and the ring planet. Alright, let's see. Looks like a corrosive. Yep. What do we have here? Petrified moon? Don't really know. That's not a familiar one to me. Could be an anomaly. Overgrown moon. There we go. That's what I like to see. Ooh, aggressive sentinels. Bonus. Yeah, so I pretty much only go to paradise planets now. I mean, not literal paradise planets, but planets with a lot of biological life on them. Just because it appeals to me, I guess, as a person who likes to work with plants and stuff. It's nice to see the plant life.
Technology recharge.
Should fly to the sunny side. Oh, this is a cool observation that somebody made online that never occurred to me, although it really should have. Like, you don't have to wait for sunrise on a planet. You can actually just fly around to the sunny side of the planet, like, which is... Where is it? I don't know. I think it's over here. I'm gonna just see if I can fly around really quick into the sun. Because it's actually not that great to explore a planet at night. I mean, you can use your flashlight, but... Oh, come on. Thing's busting my balls here. That looks like sunlight to me. Yeah, okay, here's the sunny side. So yeah, if you land on the sunny side, then you have all the light you need to explore. So I'm right in the middle of a storm. I think I might actually just cruise around a bit and see if I can see any storm crystals. It's actually easier to land. Like, you can't see shit in a storm in your ship, so... Oh, look, it's flying tapeworms. God, this planet. Oh my god. So it's got extreme weather and extreme sentinels. And apparently a bunch of asshole creatures want to rip me into little pieces. And that's a pretty hardcore storm. That's not like a light weather either. This will actually give me a chance to use up all these annoying modules that I didn't want to have. Just gonna waste some time scanning creatures while I'm waiting for the storm to pass. Oh, that's a cool creature. It's like a kind of like a cross between a rhino and a longhorn cow. Ah, Jesus. That's so tedious. It's just too extreme. I might have to wait in my ship. I'm trying to remember how to charge stuff like this. Okay, that's as hard as I thought. Yeah, that's how I've killed myself on multiple occasions. Like, the same key used for clicking out of the menus is the one that fires your secondary weapon. So occasionally I'll just be like trying to get out of a menu and fire a geology grenade right at my feet and just blow myself to hell because it's like 3,300 damage instantly. There's an easy way around that though. I just have to switch to the mining beam, or not the mining beam, what is it? Geology beam? I don't know what it is. The one where you digging? The digging beam? Oh god. The digging beam. I'm like a hardcore fan of this game who's been playing since I pre-ordered and I've been playing since Version 1 and I don't even know like what the main beams are called. What is it? Okay. Mining beam and terrain manipulator, of course. How could I forget that? I mean, I've only been playing for 400 hours. Ooh, look at this. What's this? Activated emerald. Huh. I really don't understand the point of the activated minerals versus the regular minerals. I mean, I think I vaguely remember that there were some recipes that required activated, and you need a refiner. God, these things are having way too much fun. I feel like picking a fight with the Sentinels. Bring it, bitches. I will kick the crap out of these things with my geology cannon.
Warning. Sentinel combat unit deployed.
This is perfect landscape for fighting sentinels too. Like open, no trees.
Elite Sentinel force.
Elite. Great. My phone's ringing, but I'm not gonna pick it up. Got bigger fish to fry. Ugh. This planet's kind of boring. It's a very mundane Earth-like planet. Really, its distinguishing feature are these low-flying tapeworms. I kind of like these bison things too, but not enough to actually feed them and try to ride them.
Sentinel drive activated.
Alright, I gotta take this call, so thanks for watching.